college audition story. 'Tis the season. 'Tis the season. Unifieds are almost upon us. Though I know that the process is going to be different this year because pandemic, all of that stuff. But it just feels like an appropriate time to relive the trauma of going through college auditions, not once, but twice. Twice, you may ask. Why would you put yourself through something you didn't enjoy the first time a second time? Well, let's get into it. So little me, 17, senior in high school, just so excited to audition for college and move to New York. Yeah, it was, like, I was very excited. I did not like high school. I had a pretty, I don't want to say, like, I just did not like high school. It was not for me. So I was very ready to move on and go to college, and everyone was like, Jen, you're gonna bloom in college. It's gonna be so great for you. And I was like, me? Who, me? All right. So I was very determined, and I was really excited. I filmed my pre-screens with my voice teacher in October. I'll insert a clip of my blooper reel here, because
I will pay for Give those kids and me the practice.
Just again.
No.
Kingdom, you're singing.
Happens. Steaming at Goliath too, or not. Nope. Me and pull up the anchor. Live like an imposter for 6 long years. Nope. Lyrics.
yeah, so there's that. I did get good takes, but a lot of schools asked for, like, personality videos. Show us something that just defines you. And I was like, I'm gonna take a risk. I'm gonna submit my blooper reel. And I did, and actually a lot of schools really liked it. It was brought up in some of my in-person auditions. It was a good decision that I made, and I'm proud of myself for making that decision. No regrets. I went to New York Unifieds in January, which was like a whirlwind. I feel like I was not really coherent. I was recovering from, I think it was the flu at that point. Yeah, I was recovering from the flu. So I just, like, did not feel well, could not really sing. But, like, I got into schools that I auditioned for at New York Unifieds. The first day my mom went with me to Pearl Studios. We were staying in a hotel that was just a couple blocks away. She went with me the first day. After that, I went by myself. She just, like, explored New York. And I would stay and do walk-ins and that whole thing, which was a whole story. But there was a school that I auditioned for, and I'm not gonna name it because I don't know, I just don't wanna, like, call out anybody or anything. Really rough audition. It was a whole thing. I was, like, in tears. It was not good. A school that was once, like, at the top of my list, suddenly I was like, even if I get in there, which I'm not going to because of how much they just ripped me apart, I don't want to. I do not want to. So that was, like, a little upsetting, but I walked into another school that I did a walk-in for, and I had a really, like, strange interaction with the auditioner, and it was, like, kind of uncomfortable, but then we interviewed and, like, got along really well and just really clicked. So I was like, oh, suddenly this school I'd never heard of is, like, at the top of my list. And I had my heart set on a couple schools. I was like, that's where I'm gonna go. And suddenly I was like, what if I'm wrong? What if this school that I'd never heard of is the perfect school for me? So I went through the rest of auditions like, I think I wanna go to that school. I think I wanna go to that school. I think I wanna go to that school. So about 2 weeks later, we went to Chicago. I now had pneumonia at this point. I was suffering, but we got through it. I don't think I got into a single school I auditioned for in Chicago. No, I did. That's a lie. I got into, like, one school that I auditioned for in Chicago. And I was averaging between, like, 3, 4, 5 auditions a day. So I was auditioning for a lot of schools. At the end of the process, I auditioned for 28 schools. That's not something to be proud of. It's one of my deepest regrets, actually. And then 2 weeks later, I went to LA. Yes, I went to all 3 unifieds and it was awful, and please don't do that to yourself. Yeah, so I was in LA, I was finally feeling better, but I was like done. I was done. I auditioned for another school that I'd never really considered on a walk-in and really got along with the professor. It was one of the schools I ended up touring, like really clicked. Good vibes, but I was so settled on the school that I'd done a walk-in for in New York, and the school that I'd gone into the process with my heart set on. So 2 of the schools were in New York, one of them was in Indiana. And a school in Illinois. So I had like a top 4. I knocked off the school that I auditioned for in Illinois. I was like, I just don't really want to go there. Like, it wasn't the right fit for me, and I knew that. So knocked that off the list and ended up touring it. Over my spring break, my mom and I went to tour the school in Indiana because I was really excited by it. It was a nice small program that you got to sort of customize, do what you want, because it was a BA program, not a BFA program. But that kind of excited me, and they had a lot of connections with some Shakespeare festivals in Indiana, and even though I was like a musical theater student, I knew that I could sing well enough, and they had a really strong dance program, and that would have been an advantage to me, and their acting program was really strong. But I went and toured, and just, like, I liked it, it just didn't feel like home, you know? I got along with everyone was super sweet, the students were all coming up to me and talking to me. It was a good vibe, like, I really did like it, and I was still considering it. Like, my mom and I got, like, a t-shirt and a hat for my dad, just in case that's where I picked. Also because we, like, had no hard feelings about the school, no shame in supporting that school, even if that's not where I chose to attend. So then we flew up to New York, and we toured the school that I'd never heard of, but had auditioned for and loved, and was like, kind of had my heart set on. So we toured there, and I loved it. I was eating every minute of Alive. It was like, I thought that was where I was supposed to be, but my mom talked me into seeing the school that I had gone into the process with my heart set on, that I'd also gotten into. We toured that school, and it was like, it just looked empty. They were pretty open about the fact that it's pretty much a commuter school except for the musical theater program, and that, you know, I'd be alone on the weekends, that kind of thing. So I ended up choosing the school that I had never heard of before auditions. That's where I went. If you want to dig and figure out where it was, you can. It won't be that hard, but I don't want to name it because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, because it is the perfect fit for someone, and I have nothing against it as an institution. It just was not right for me. So that's where I picked. I was in a Facebook group with everyone. I was so excited. I was so excited to be a freshman in college, and I was going to live in New York. I was not living in New York City, but I was living in New York, and I was just a short train ride away from the city, and I was so excited. So I moved there in August, and everything's fine. Like, I am loving it. I had a roommate issue, but I got moved into a single. So I was like thriving. I got to have my own room, and I'm an only child. I'm not good at sharing. In what world did I think it'd be easy to have a roommate? I don't know. So that was a good decision to move into a single. But about Thanksgiving break, I start to see that, like, the curriculum's sort of changing around me. We're not necessarily getting the things that we were promised. I don't know, I'm feeling a little neglected. I'm just starting to question if I'm in the right spot. But I really think, like, I didn't think a ton of it because I was still happy. I was in a sorority, I was on the equestrian team, I had a good group of friends. Like, I was happy. I was just sort of concerned that we weren't getting the training caliber that I thought I needed. And, like, I'd brought that up to my mom. We sort of had discussed, like, well, I can go into the city and I can take more dance classes. I can go, you know, I can do these extra things to sort of mitigate that. But I wanted to stay in the program because I did feel like what I was getting was amazing. I just didn't think that it was well-rounded enough. But I knew that in following years, I got more musical theater and less straight acting, so I wasn't terribly concerned. It was just frustrating. So I go home for winter break, and I get sick, and this is the whole like becoming chronically ill thing. I say becoming in quotes because I'm genetically ill. It just was not bothering me intensely until that point. I went back to school and I was like, everything's fine, I'll be fine, I'll be fine, I'll be fine. All the while I'm starting to consider if I maybe want to transfer. And my mom had suggested that I send in a couple applications to schools that I'd been interested in the past year. Particularly to like BFA programs in New York City, because I was like established in New York. I liked being in New York. She was like, why don't you just submit a couple applications like to the school you went into the process that your heart set on, a couple schools in Manhattan, like, you know, just because then you have options and you won't feel like you're stuck and you can make the best decision. She expected me to make the decision to stay where I was, but wanted to give me the option to feel like I had the ability to leave. So I was filming audition videos in my dorm room while feeling very sick, writing application essays while feeling very sick, and trying to attend school, and it was kind of not good. About February, I like stopped being able to get out of bed, stopped being able to attend classes, and it really all went downhill from there. I ended up leaving school in April. And at that point, we had no idea what was wrong. I was kind of like I didn't really finish the audition process. I didn't like go to in-person auditions or anything like that because I was so sick. So I was just sort of like regretting all of it, and I was honestly like very depressed because we didn't know what was wrong with me. I kind of thought I was gonna die, was upset to be back home, felt like failure. It was a whole thing. So I'm home. At one point, I don't even remember what the cause was. I basically looked at my mom and said, I can't go back there. I can't go back there because they would have made me start over, which is true of most BFA programs. If I transferred, I would have had to start over from year one. And I was like, I can't go back there. And I had wanted to go to Conservatory a bit originally. I had really, I'm a smart kid, but didn't really see the point in spending my time doing gen eds when I could just do theater all day, much to my mother's dismay. But she'd agreed to let me audition for a couple because they did like summer programs and things like that. And, you know, they were walk-in auditions. So she was just supportive of me doing what I wanted, but wanted me to choose a BFA program, which is what I ended up doing. But this second go round, I was like, Mom, I can't go back there. I can't go back there. So I started researching conservatories, which she agreed was a good idea. She was like, no, I understand. Like, you've done a year of college. You've had like the college experience. You're also, you know, actually 18 now. You're not 17 going into college. You'll be turning 19 soon. You know, I trust you. I applied to 3 different conservatories. One I had auditioned for the year prior, and they kept my audition and just said, if I want to come, I just have to email them and let them know. Easy, no worries. I'd gotten in the year before, no worries. I sent in an audition tape for one, and I did a Skype audition for the school I currently attend. So for the school I currently attend, I did a Skype audition with pajama pants and a dress on from my bed because I could not stand up. My mom came in towards the end of my audition after we'd interviewed, and she'd expressed that she really liked me. She was impressed by my material choice, things like that. My mom came in, we sort of explained the situation, and she said, that's fine, you can defer till spring or you can defer till the next fall. And my mom was like, oh, okay, so like if she gets in, we don't have to commit to fall right away. And she was like, no, don't worry about it. We'll take care of her. We'll hold her audition on file for up to 1.5 years. My mom was like, great, amazing, then I don't have to stress. And we came to about June, and I was working and feeling good, so we paid tuition. I got my dorm assignment in end of July, first week of August, and moved back to New York in August. So it's now, I finished my first year, love it, so happy with my choice. This is my final year. Woohoo. I don't know, I'm ready to be done, but I'm also gonna miss it. I met the people I was supposed to meet, I'm where I'm supposed to be, and that's really all you can ask for at the end of the day. If you want to share your college audition experience story with me, comment below. send me a DM on Instagram, whatever. I would love to hear. Also, be sure to subscribe and like this video. I post every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out my Instagram, both at broadwaysponie and at jen_katzer. You can check out my blog as well, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye!